What we resist persists. What the mind can conceive, the body can achieve. What you think about, you bring about. Thoughts become things. All that we are is the result of what we have thought. Wow. Powerful, emotional statements. That's right. It's Coach D, and I am here today to bring to you guys a new topic. We're going to get into one of my favorite movies. It's called The Secret. Now, some of you may have seen it, some of you may have not. But in either case, I believe that I am going to offer you a perspective of The Secret that you have never, ever heard before. So, today we're going to talk about The Secret's 3-step creative process revised. So, let's go ahead and get started. Now, some people may not be familiar with The Secret, and that's okay. For those of us who are, right, I wanted to go ahead and talk first about what the movie has to offer. So what is the 3-step creative process according to The Secret? Well, it's a way to incorporate The Secret, or we can say the law of attraction, into our daily lives. And it's a very simple and easy process to remember. Step 1 is to ask. Step 2 is to believe. And step 3 is to receive. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Ask, believe, and receive. Now, that is the original 3-step creative process that's presented to all of us in the movie The Secret. But with my teachings of this movie, what I've come to realize is that it's a lot of theory. And for people who are not into the world of being spiritual and being exposed to certain principles of metaphysics, they believe that the 3-step creative process is a little too theoretical. And so they can't quite grasp really what it means. So don't worry, guys. Coach D is here. And so today is all about my perspective on the 3-step creative process. So I'm going to bring it down to earth a little bit. I'm going to turn theory into application. So let's go ahead and continue. Time to revise. That's right, guys. So what I've done is I have actually expanded the 3-step creative process into 5 steps. That's right. I added 2 more steps. So let's go ahead and talk about step 1. Step 1 is to ask. That's right. Just like the original 3-step creative process. Now, here is where I like to make a small revision. In step 2. Step 2 is to create a plan. Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. We must begin to create plans. Step 3 is to believe. Step 4 is to execute your plan. Wow, now that's interesting. And step 5 is to receive. So, step 1 is to ask. Step 2 is to create a plan. Step 3 is to believe. Step 4 is to execute your plan. And step 5 is to receive. So what I now want to do is I want to talk about each of those steps individually. First up, step 1 is to ask. You know, guys, one of my most favorite people in the world is, or shall I say was, my grandmother, Julia West. Love her, right? And I remember when I'm not sure if I was a teenager or younger than a teenager, but I remember one thing that she said to me, actually I remember a lot of things, but one of the things that she said to me, which it just stuck with me, and I've never forgotten it. And she said to me, she said, "You have not because you ask not." I'll say that again. My grandmother told me, she says that you have not because you ask not. And so that ties in directly with step one of my revised version of the creative process, which is to ask. So, what does this mean? It means that we need to make a command to the universe. We need to let the universe know what it is we want. So, here's a question for you. What do you really, really, really want? Whatever it is. Take out a sheet of paper, grab a pen, grab a pencil, and write it down. I want this. I want that. Now, here is something that we need to be aware of. Your wants, they can be tangible or they can be intangible. So let me go ahead and make the difference for you. If something is tangible, what that means is that you can perceive it through your senses, right? So that means that you can see it, you can taste it, touch it, feel it, okay, hear it perhaps. If something is intangible, then that means that it's not, that you cannot perceive it through your five senses. So let me give some examples of something that's tangible, such as a house, a car, money, a new business, right? A new husband, a new wife, a new girlfriend, a new boyfriend, right? What do you want? Something that's intangible. Well, if we fall back to the 23% challenge, right? We know that forgiveness and gratitude are two principles that are taught throughout the 23% challenge. So maybe you want to begin to have an attitude of gratitude. Maybe you want to begin to have an attitude of forgiveness. Maybe you want more happiness in your life. Maybe you want to experience more joy, more bliss, more excitement, right? So whatever it is, please write it down. Make a command to the universe. Step two is to now create a plan. Yes, we must begin to really think about whatever it is we want, but we now have to create a plan in order to get it. So, how do you plan to get what you want? Create a pathway that leads to your goals. Now, we all know that the shortest distance between any 2 points is a straight line. So, what is your job in this creative process? Your job is to not only ask for what you want, but you also have to create a plan that has a beginning, a middle, as well as an end. Now, here's a question for you in creating your plan. What resources do you have at your disposal? So when we talk about resources, really what we're talking about is, what can I use to facilitate my goals? Well, I'll tell you probably the two biggest resources that you have, because I can only use myself as an example, is that the two biggest resources that I have, number one, are going to be people, and number two, time. That's right, guys. People and time will probably be your biggest resources. Because in order for your plan to work, trust me, you're going to need a team of people to assist you. And in order for your plan to work, you will need time. That's right. So in developing your plan, you have to figure out how many hours per day, how many days per week, how many months out of the year, and if it takes long enough, how many years out of your life are you willing to dedicate to your plan so that it becomes a realization. And another question that we have to ask ourselves is, how can I maximize what I already have? Well, this now almost forces us to have an attitude of gratitude. So start thinking about what type of people and resources that you already have that you can begin to tap into. And another question that you may want to ask yourself is, who can I talk to? Start thinking about the people that you know who are professionals, or start thinking about who they know. Because again, in order for your plan to work, yes, you're going to have to be the pilot of the plane. You're going to have to be the captain of the ship. But trust me, no plane flies and no ship sails without a team. You just have to be the leader of that team. Step 3 is to believe. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Believe that your plan will work. That's right. So, believe that your want is already yours. You see, we have to get into a feeling that whatever we want is already ours. So let's say that you want a new house. Well, the house is already yours, believe it or not. Let's say you want money. Well, I'm here to tell you that the money is already yours. You want a new significant other? Well, guess what? That significant other is probably right around the corner. Something else that we have to take into consideration during the belief step is that we have to have faith, and we must trust our intuition. That's right. I talked about intuition, right? We've talked about trust in previous videos. Well, ladies and gentlemen, in order for you to believe in your plan, you must begin to listen to that little voice that goes on inside of your head that gives you tidbits every now and then. So not only do you need to listen to that voice, but you also need to trust that that voice is telling you the truth, and it will lead you in the right way. We also must believe in the unseen. That's right. So even though you can't quite see, touch, or feel your want, believe it or not, it's already coming to fruition. During the belief phase, the universe begins to rearrange itself just for you. That's right. So if your want is, let's say, new furniture, you never know. The furniture stores could literally be rearranging furniture in the showroom so that when you come in, guess what? It's right there saying, hello, come by me. Now, something that's very important during step 3 is that we don't focus on the how, right? Because a lot of people will get muddled down with all the specifics, right? They want to know how this is going to happen. How is that going to happen, right? Don't get too caught up in the hows, because if you do, then that will bring along feelings of doubt and disappointment. So again, it's very important that we only focus on the end result. Okay, so please do not become doubtful. Do not get caught up in the hows and the whens and the whys, right? But just focus on the end result, which, if we remember, is whatever it is we want. Step 4. Now, guys, I'm going to tell you that, right, I want $1 million. Okay, who doesn't? All right, so I'm going to throw my hat in that ring too. Now, I could sit here and do videos for the rest of my life, right? But if I'm not executing my plan, if I'm not doing whatever it is I have to do, then guess what? That $1 million will always be a dream. It will never, ever become real. So step 4 is about execution. You must act. Whatever it is you want out of life, or while you're watching this video, I want you to understand that yes, it's one thing to create a plan, And it's one thing to ask for it, and it's another thing to believe in it, right? But if you are not doing what you need to do, if you're not executing your plan, if you're not acting, then guess what? Nothing will ever happen. So let's talk about what exactly we need to do. Well, go visit a home. And I would also recommend that if you do want a new house, please, 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 please develop a relationship with a realtor. Okay, a licensed real estate agent. That's probably one of the best things that you can do. Okay, in a separate video, I'll go into why that's a very good idea. But today, I just want to drop little tidbits. Okay, something else that we can begin to do. If what you want is a brand new car, right? Whether you want to buy it or lease it, go test drive the car, right? Get inside the car. Understand the feeling of having that car. Now, if perhaps you are interested in building your assets, which is something that we recommend during the 23% challenge, go ahead and start talking to a banker. Go ahead and start talking to a stockbroker. If you want to write a book, or maybe you're a singer, right? Write your book, write your lyrics. If you want to start a business, what I would suggest is that you go visit the Small Business Development Center. They have offices around the country. So do a little research, find out where they are, and go start talking to people who know more about that. If you have fitness goals, right? Go buy a gym membership. And something else that I highly recommend would be that once you get that gym membership, whether you want to build muscle, tone your muscles, lose body fat, right? I suggest you talk to a personal trainer. That's right, guys. So you want to buy stocks? You talk to a stockbroker. You want to buy a house? You go talk to a licensed real estate agent. You want to improve your health? You want to build muscle? You want to lose body fat? Well, guess what? Go talk to a personal trainer. Remember, you must build your team. You have to surround yourself with people who know more than you. All right? But always remember, you are the leader. Okay? This is just a way of you delegating tasks. That's all. So that your dream happens sooner rather than later. Listen to audiobooks. You know, guys, I'll tell you right now that my car is basically a library on wheels. All right, that is where I spend my time studying, right? I listen to audiobooks all the time. Now, don't get me wrong, I love music, but when it comes to my audiobooks, I don't mess around, right? Start watching videos. Okay, and if you are in need of a job, guess what? Go job hunting. All right? A job is not going to come to you if all you do is sit on the computer and send out resumes electronically. Oh no. You want a job? You better start pounding the pavement and go out there and start talking to people, right? And when you do, please be well groomed and be well dressed. Now, step 4, I've actually had to break into 2 parts, okay, because this is the important part. It's one thing to know what to do, but it's a completely different animal to know what not to do, right? So, while executing your plan, you must stay focused. That's right, stay focused on whatever it is you have to do to make your dreams come true, okay? So, how do we stay focused? And this is the biggest piece of advice that I can give you. Start developing your team of people who love you, who support you, who appreciate you, people that can help facilitate your goals, right? Let's look at the word facilitate. Facilitate simply means to make it happen easier, okay? So you need to surround yourself with people who, again, know a little more about your goals than you do, right? And also, we must surround ourselves with people who we trust, okay? So, that's one part. Now, here's what not to do, all right? You must avoid distractions. You must. Because remember, there's a straight line. A straight line is the fastest, quickest, most easiest way from point A to point B, right? So we must avoid people who serve as distractions, right? So let's stay away from the naysayers. Naysayers are those people who say, you know what, I tried that, it doesn't work, and I don't think you should try it either. They may also say, oh, that'll never work, so-and-so did it 2 years ago and lost all their money. Stay away from people who say, you know what, don't do that, no, do this. Also, stay away from people who are judgmental. Stay away from people who have expectations, right? Because one thing that'll kill your dreams is if you hang around with people who have expectations of your time. That's right. Remember, time is one of your most valuable resources. You see? So if you're giving away your time to things that aren't important to you, then guess what? You now have very little time for what really is important to you. And last but not least, we need to stay away from people who are demanding. That's right, guys. So please stay away from the naysayers. Stay away from those who are judgmental, who place a lot of expectations on us, and also for those who are demanding. Step 5 is to receive, right? So how do we receive? Is a great question. I love it, right? Well, how do you receive? Celebrate, throw a big party, right? I love the party, so that's not an issue for me. Okay, I just have to worry about who I'm inviting to my party. Okay, so guys, while you are celebrating, while you are throwing your party, right, it's important that you feel good about your accomplishment. That's right, because nothing happens overnight, right? So whether it takes you a week, 2 weeks, a month, 6 months, a few years, right? You need to celebrate the fact that you accomplished your goal. You also need to feel happy that you survived the process, because trust me, there will be speed bumps, there will be obstacles, there will be people who will attempt to distract you from your goals. So you have to be happy about the fact that you survived the 5-step creative process. While you are celebrating, you must say thank you to the universe. Now, guys, understand something. The word universe can be synonymous with God. It could be synonymous with the Almighty. It could be synonymous with Allah. I just choose to use the word universe, right? So if you want to say thank you God, thank you universe, thank you Allah, then so be it. But please say thank you. It's a way of honoring the universe. That's all. You also want to appreciate those who helped you along your journey. That's right. Remember, you're not a one-man army. You have a team under you. And so it's important that while you're celebrating, invite them to the party. Allow them to celebrate with you. You see? And during that celebration, you may want to tell them why you invited them to the party. Let people know why you appreciate them. It'll go a long way. That I know. And last but not least, you definitely want to recognize your feelings while you are celebrating, right? Recognize that feeling of joy and happiness and bliss and excitement and enthusiasm. Recognize those feelings and celebrate them. Celebrate, celebrate, celebrate. That is how you receive, ladies and gentlemen. It brings a smile to my face. So what is our take-home message for today? Well, our take-home message is simply a recap of the revised version of the 3-step creative process, right? So step 1 is to ask. Step 2 is to create a plan. Step 3 is to believe in your plan. Know that your plan will work. Step 4 is to execute your plan. That's right, guys. Get up and start acting, start doing, start executing. And last but not least, step 5 is to receive all of the goodness that the universe has to offer. That's right. Time to celebrate, time to party. Question of the day. That's right, I gotta hit you with it. So, what are your thoughts about the 5-step creative process? I want to know what your opinion is. I know I've said a lot, and this is probably the longest video that I've done thus far. But I really, really want to know what your thoughts are. I'm very passionate about this particular topic. So please write a comment on the video, or of course send your questions, comments to 23%challenge@gmail.com. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all that Coach D has for you today. So I want to say good night, good morning, good afternoon, and remember, the 23% challenge is in full effect. Signing out.